Who are you who are you individually, and who are you together as husband and wife?
I am Carol Burnett Hamilton. I am the Black Carol Burnett. You know the white one. I'm the Black one, kind of really just like her a little bit. But I'm a fun person. I love the Lord. I love having a good time. I love music. I love people. I love ministry. I love shopping. I just love to have a good time. I'm that person. JK, who are you?
I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
It's been in Dallas longer than I've been in New York, but I claim New York because those are my roots. But I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
Unbeknown to a lot of people. I'm an observer. I'm a watcher. I'm a listener, and I'm not as charismatic on a personal level, but very. I love to listen. I love to assess and observe and just take in things. So. That's who I am. I'm not JK. I'm Jamel Kawan Hamilton, and of course, there's a story behind the whole JK piece. But that's who I am. I'm Jamel Kawan Hamilton from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a child of God.
Amen. So, who are you together?
We are a whole big.
We're a mess together.
A mess. A good mess. We ain't a bad mess now. Don't get it twisted. We are. We complete each other. We've been married for 25 years now, and together, as JK said, he is he's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. He often refers to us as the turtle and the tiger. I guess I'm the tiger and he's the turtle. He'll have to explain that to you, but we're two different people with like interest who have learned to become one. JK.
Yeah, so we're a good mess and we're a bad mess, and we're a warm and fuzzy mess, and then we're a messy mess together. But God takes all of it and he directs it toward his purpose.
Right.
And that seems to be what it is. It's purpose over problems, and purpose over personal pursuits, and God purpose. And so together we we're a team that ministers to men and women in the church. And I believe that God is using the together chemistry for the sake of his kingdom. I believe that's who we are together. It isn't who we set out to be together, but God metamorphosed what we had together to benefit his kingdom.
Right.
All right. How did JK and Carol Hamilton meet?
Y'all want to hear the truth, or y'all want to hear his version?
We want to hear the truth. Give us the truth.
You want to tell them? Go ahead. Go ahead. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Okay, Southwestern Christian College. I was 19 years old, 18 years old, and fresh out of New York, still have my New York swag, and just coming to the campus as a ministerial student. And of course, you check out people, and when I stepped on campus, she was checking me out. She liked my swag. She was digging my Carl Kanai jeans and vest and my Timberland boots.
True, so far. So good.
And she was a singer singing in the I don't know what group that
Summer
was.
tour.
Was it Summer Tour, and you weren't even?
I was
Yeah,
in it as a
okay.
freshman. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we talked and we met and we dated for a little while, and then we broke up because I had to get back into schoolwork and I didn't want to be distracted. She doesn't think that's not her rendition, but that's my truth.
No.
How real? I don't know. I don't know a lot of people on this venue.
Okay,
So
so
I'm being
brother,
very careful, and I'm being very
okay,
approaching with caution. I don't know where this venue will be. I don't know who's going to see it, and I don't know how real you want it.
Yeah.
okay, so the purpose of this ministry has been for us women who desire marriage, right? And we want it as real as you want it to be, as comfortable as you are sharing with us. Go ahead and give it, right? Because there may be somebody who meets like JK and Carol, right? And they're like, oh, snap. Oh, I heard that. Oh, that's me. We're about to do this thing right here. So that's what we want from you. Go ahead. Get real, brother JK. Get real.
Well, I mean, you know, on the real side, we moved too fast and tried to date, and then ended up friends in essence. And I'm going to tell you, that is one of the most valuable things you can have. A lot of people are skipping friendship. They're skipping friendship and going straight into romantic relationships and intimacy. And it's the friendship that's the bedrock, that's the foundation, that's going to be the transparent version of you. There are things we tell our friends that we would not tell somebody as single people, that you wouldn't tell anybody you were dating. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who have friends of the opposite sex who they can share things that they can't even share to the person they're dating. So friendship is what we had. We were friends. Yeah. We broke up after 2 weeks of dating, and she ended up dating somebody else. I ended up dating someone else. We went through our college campus process. Yeah. And we were friends. I talked to her about what I was going through. She talked to me about what she was going through. And that friendship is what God used to evolve into a deeper relationship. And 25 years later. So, I mean, that's the first thing. Friends are not as hesitant to hold back things, because there's no fear of judgment, because you're friends. There's nothing invested in that she had invested in me or I had invested in her that would make me run away from being transparent. Right. And that's usually the first thing the enemy's going to attack. And if you don't have it there for him to attack, then he's just attacking a veneer. And it's easy to destroy a veneer because veneers don't have foundation.
All right, Sister Carol, he just said he just attacking the veneer. All right, Sister Carol, go ahead and share your version.
Well, I'm proud of him. He did it. He kind of did it right this time. I mean, he hit and miss on a couple of things, but he's right. We met each other at Southwestern, and I saw him in one of the buildings there when I was in there with a group practicing singing, and he came in with that green Carlton on and them Timberland boots, and I was like, "Who is this joker?" But he caught my eye in the beginning, and we dated for a little while, and then, as he said, we stopped dating. And start actually, he broke up. This is the part where he don't be telling the truth on. He broke up with me, and then he started dating this other girl right after he started. He says he wasn't, but he was. He was dating this other girl, and I knew it. So, you know, it wasn't really.
To this day, we were friends. 25 years later,
we were friends.
28 years later, and I'm sticking to my story because that's what it was.
He wanted to be single and mingle on that campus, and he saw a girl that was, I won't describe her because it's just not even, I don't even need to describe her, but anyhow, he started dating this girl. Anyway, we started dating other people, and then we ended up back together. He really wanted to be with me. He did some terrible jokes on me and all kinds of things to try to see if I still liked him. Like, he had somebody run into the campus one day to tell me that he had a terrible accident and that he was calling for me. I run over to his dorm. We're not together now. We're not in a relationship. I run over to his dorm and I get there. He's on the ground, and what looks like he's covered in blood was ketchup. And I started smelling it like, this joker ain't, first of all, blood don't look like, it's too thick, and it smell like Heinz. And so nobody got time for that. But he was trying to see what I was gonna be, if I would I feel anything if something happened to him. I guess to try to see where my heart was or whatever, because we were really good friends. But anyhow, it ended up that we got together and got married. We had teachers and professors and all kinds of folks trying to get us together on that campus. But I think we were kind of destined to be together.
I love the word that you just used, that you were destined to be together, because you met him, you saw him, he saw you. Y'all already knew the chemistry was there. And you're like, nah, this ain't going to work. Let's become friends. And you said something so powerful, Brother JK. You said friendship is the foundation of the relationship. And a lot of people skip that friendship and run straight into the, dating and intimacy part, and you miss that. I really want you to expound on that some more, only because a lot of us on here are single sisters, and we do desire kingdom marriage. And what does that look like, right? To be a single woman who is kingdom minded and wants a kingdom marriage. So can you expound, like, I want you to use your pastoral hat right now to kind of share with us that part.
I think the relationship where more character is unveiled is friendship. Friendship is that relationship. You learn things about in friendship that you can decide whether or not you want to accept in a marriage. The friendship should serve as the preview to the movie. You kind of get you get to see this is what's on the runway. It's the test drive. The test drive isn't necessarily the physical interaction, but the interaction as friends. What do you do if I tell you that I feel this way? How do you respond to my feelings? How do you respond to my hurt? How do we interact when it comes to one another's preferences and wants and desires and aspirations and dreams and things of that magnitude? What happens when you get upset with me? And what happens when I offend you? What happens when I make a decision that you don't like? You kind of get all of that in preview. And you get to do it without the commitment of marriage, right, which gives you an opportunity to make a decision as to whether or not, based on that, you want to go to the next level. Now, kingdom men and kingdom women, our situation was that she went there for singing. I went there for preaching. So it was kind of a no-brainer type thing, because we both had aspirations and were in school to pursue and to sharpen our kingdom purpose. But at the end of the day, the value system is what determines you being a kingdom person. Do you value the things of the kingdom? And I'm not talking about, do you go to church? No. Do you value, first of all, your relationship with Jesus? It's a kingdom because we have a king. You take away the king and it's just a group of people waiting to be led. And so the first thing is do you value your relationship with the Lord? Do you have a relationship with the Lord? And a lot of times people get with people that have a relationship with the church,
right,
and don't have a relationship with the Lord, which means, is there an internal allegiance to Christ that governs how you set boundaries, how you move, how you think, how you perceive people, how you perceive yourself, how the decisions you make. Is there an influence other than your desire to be with me?
Right.
That's controlling your goings and comings. Because if that influence is not Christ, then you go into that relationship on your own. In other words, on your own merit, which means there's nothing inside of me motivating me, moving me, shaping me in as a person. So if Christ and the kingdom value of Jesus as the king of my life, if it's not there, then you end up tossed to and fro. And not saying you won't have problems, but it says that when I cannot operate with you because I don't like you right now, one thing I cannot do, I cannot mistreat you and I cannot violate you because you are my father's daughter. You are my big brother's sister. And that should serve as a motivator for that. But on a practical level, what's the involvement? What's the priority in pursuing a kingdom purpose? Do you love the Lord? Do you love the word of God? Do you love what, do you want to hear more of the word? Can we have a conversation about what the Lord is doing in our lives as opposed to what we want to do in our future? So those are the kinds of things that kind of set the precedents, and it's best to get those things in the relationship of platonic friendship, because you kind of know.
Oh, that was good, Brother JK. Thank you so much. Oh, that was so good. Now, I have this question. When did you know, Sister Carol, that Brother JK was the one? And Brother JK, when did you know that Sister Carol was the one?
I think, as Jamel said, I think I knew when we were in the friendship phase. It would be times where we would sneak off together. We wasn't doing nothing foul or nothing like that. We would just sit for hours and just talk. But I kind of knew then. And then, of course, I think what solidified it was the catch up. Then I really knew that, oh God, I really, really feel something for this boy. Thinking he was hurt and all that kind of stuff, but I really, had these real feelings for him that superseded past the friendship that we had. So it was a little deeper. So yeah, probably in the friendship phase.
Brother Hamilton.
Well, that was where it was discovered. The possibility arose in the friendship. Mm-hmm. The possibility. That's the first thing that arose. This possibly can be, when you get to the point where you're talking to each other about the relationship that you're in, mm-hmm. You get to see the values, you get to see how they feel about you. How I got to see that. And so in that friendship, we saw, wait a minute, there's something growing between us that makes me uncomfortable when I give you advice and you take it and use it for somebody else. And there was an attraction there that was evolving. Mm-hmm. Some people stay friends for the rest of their lives and that's it. But I knew because there was something growing, and we even got suspended together at Southwestern. Yeah, she got caught in my room, and I lied. Yeah. And I'm not a good liar, so we got suspended together, and then while on suspension, represented Southwestern Christian College.
We sure did.
and it was a big deal. And they came back to campus and baptized 6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
It was, you know, that,
Yeah.
that was, you know, so in relationships, God send you these mini trials to see how you do. They're micro versions of the macro challenges you will have in a more serious relationship. And these micro versions will bring revelation. See, revelation is not brought about through emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It is brought about through the spiritual engagement of things that challenge
Right.
the norm, challenge what you have. You get to see it, you know, and when you're dating, you get these little, I believe that you get them, people don't recognize them, but you get these little micro trials.
Yeah.
These micro problems, and how you do with that will determine whether or not these things bring you closer, or whether they bring you the revelation that this person needs to stay as my friend, and we don't need to escalate it to some next level.
Yeah.
Amen. I love that. That's beautiful. Oh, how has the kingdom blessed your marriage?
Go ahead. I've been talking too much.
You're not talking too much. How has the kingdom blessed our marriage? I think the kingdom has at time been a buffer for us in marriage, meaning that we never professed to be a perfect couple. We've never ever done that, and so we're not that couple where we walk around saying that, you know, look at us, hashtag goals. You know, we ain't that couple. We are not. If you want the real, we the real. We're not the, you know, every day we wake up and we run through the tulips and we sip coffee with our, you know, we ain't that couple. We the couple that argue and fight, and not physically fight. Let me say that, because you know, we don't ain't no hands being thrown over here. But we're not always, you know, living in peace with one another. We're not always living in peace. But the kingdom has been a blessing to our marriage, because at those times that we're not in peace and we cannot work together as husband and wife in this house, when we are doing kingdom business, it's about kingdom business, and we are forced to work together because we both have an assignment in the kingdom. And so we may lay our assignment down because we're mad at each other as husband and wife, but we never lay our kingdom assignment down. And so because we never lay our kingdom assignment down, it forces us to work together, which many times, you know, we can be about to go somewhere and have to minister to people and might have had an argument on the way there, and we have to get out. And by the time we get through ministering to people, we back feeling lovey-dovey again and feeling back okay with one another, because the kingdom helped us to work through that by helping other people together, not separately or apart. And so I think that has been a huge blessing in our marriage, to be able to be driven by the same things in the kingdom, right? And have the same interest and same love for the Lord that we both have, and for his people, and serving people, that has helped us in our marriage to work through those things by nature of serving other people.
Is that your final answer too, Brother JK?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh.
that's perfect. And then, that's my final answer. Shared affliction brings unity. Shared trouble, shared challenge. And I think part of working in the kingdom is, the challenges of working in the capacity of ministry in the kingdom. Being shared victory, having these shared moments when we're not sharing on a personal level or an intimate level, the joy of sharing what we share in the kingdom kind of bridges the gap between anything and any other way we're not sharing. So yeah, I echo what Sister Carol Burnett, Marquita Burnett Hamilton said.
A whole government name, Brother
Whole
JK.
name.
All
You know
right.
what? Can I say something about this?
Go ahead.
I just found out, and then we just found out that the Carol Burnett, the actress, the comedian, and I don't know if you all know who she is. The weirdest thing, I found out that she married a guy named Hamilton, Joe Hamilton. They had 3 daughters. We have 3 daughters. Their middle daughter's name is Jordy. Our middle daughter's name is Jordan, but we call her Jordy. And I said look at that, they're not in the kingdom necessarily, but they weren't in kingdom, but that is just I don't even know why I said that. Like that has
let me tell you
nothing
something.
to do-
You just showed something so powerful because she's comedic. Your wife is comedic, but she's comedic for the kingdom.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, look, God is strategic now.
Yeah, there's one in that kingdom and one in his kingdom. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
The question I have for you now is, how has your marriage blessed the kingdom?
Might have to ask the kingdom that. I don't know. I think that, and things that I've heard from other people are that people appreciate the realness of us, because we are not people that try to portray something that we're not. We stood before people. We've done marriage workshops and marriage retreats and all kinds of things like that, and we've helped people by being transparent with them and being real with them at the same time, giving them hope. So I would like to think that because we are not a couple that tries to portray something that we're not, that it has blessed people to overcome, people to have hope, and things like that, and maybe even help strengthen their marriage at times, and all based on the Word of God, but also based on the gifts that He's given us. JK is an awesome teacher, and I can say that without, I can say that he's an awesome teacher and preacher. He's good at what he does, and God has gifted him in a major way. He just messed up that moment right there. He messed up that moment. But anyway, he is that. I will not repeat it again since he messed it up. But God is really, God has gifted him in so many ways. And so I think he's been a major blessing, even outside of me standing beside him. I think he's been a major blessing to many people, including myself, as not as his wife, but as one that is able to hear him teach and hear him preach on a regular basis for the last 20 something years. So
I can honestly attest to what you just said, because I remember when Brother JK came for our VBX and he taught us about the sovereignty of God. That still resonates with me to this day. And a preacher is a good preacher when you could sit there and just remember, wow, he taught the sovereignty of God. And that just helps me remember when I'm going through something, God's sovereign. He could do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah,
right. So yes, Sister Hamilton, I co-sign that 5 times over. And I still watch y'all today. I tell people, if y'all want a good sermon, y'all want to go to heaven, y'all need to go listen to Mountain View, because they take you to heaven on Sunday mornings with that worship service. Oh, that'd be so good. Brother JK, what's your response?
The eyes don't see themselves, right? So as she said, you'd have to, I don't know. We could just echo what people have said. I don't know if we're supposed to know.
Right.
I think there's a thing that keeps you humble. I think God sometimes shields us from our own knowledge of our effectiveness.
Yeah, your own greatness. Yeah.
Shield you from your own greatness, your own impactfulness. lest you be lifted above measure. So I don't know.
We'll call y'all congregants and ask them.
Yeah, I don't know. We hope that people are made are motivated to fight for their relationship, because we fight for it.
Amen.
We fight in it and we fight for it.
Amen. Amen. I love that. So this is going to be a juicy question. How did you overcome the difficult seasons of marriage?
By being friends. One, by having the same love for God. I think it's so important, right? That both people have a love for God. And I know if our love for God fluctuates at times, contingent upon, life circumstances. A lot of people, their faith is weak at times, different things. But I think a lot of it, overcoming the difficult times in our marriage, have been because of both of our love for God. And at the end of the day, our love for God, and then our love for one another. I love my husband. I love my husband. If I had to do it again and I had to, I would get another pick, I would probably do it again with him. I would probably.
Maybe.
It's a strong possibility that I would do it again with I'd do it again with him. But I think, that has a lot to do with it. What our foundation was sturdy. I think our foundation started off right, if that makes sense. I think a lot of times people's don't know how to quite begin a relationship, and sometimes their foundation is built on other things, and built on all the exterior things, what he did for me and what she did for me, and he bought me this and he bought me that, and he looked good and he this. And what happens, when you're so focused on all of that, and then they no longer look good, or they can no longer provide or do those things for you, what do you have left? And so it has to be deeper than those material things and those exterior things. It has to be what's on the heart and what's on the inside. So I think that's what kind of helped us get through those tough times. And we're resilient people. We ain't no quitters. Not this Hamilton couple. We ain't no quitters.
Amen. You echo the same sentiment, Brother JK?
Yeah, I just want to add that God, really, we're not quitters, but that doesn't mean I didn't want to quit.
Right.
You said juicy. I'm just going to keep it real. I've divorced her in my mind many times. And I say this, and she hates for me to say it, but we're keeping it real. She may not have gone that far in her mind, but I can't, I wouldn't divulge how far she has gone without her.
I just put them on child support a time or two. That's it.
But it's not. Run from anybody that tells you this is a peachy cream, fairy tale. No, it's not. You have one person who has the right to get to this much proximity. This is the closest person to you. Their kick is as impactful as their kiss, because they're close enough to do either or. And sometimes our relationship is a series of kicks where we're kicking against each other, or we bring with us every part of who we are into every relationship, but we show it most in our marriage. Yeah. There are parts of you watching, whether you're watching on the Zoom or watching via social media, that have parts of you that are hard for you to tolerate, yet alone someone else.
Yeah.
But we bring every part of who we are, and in marriage, we start unveiling each part. So whereas publicly, the public does not see the interior, the public sees the exterior. The closest that the public comes is they may come into the inner court, but they don't go with you into the holy place and into your most holy place and your holiest of holies. And relationships are like that. And from the public, the end, from the inner court, it looks great. But it's been God.
Yeah.
God has been the glue to keep us together. And it's not always been, well, let's talk about it. No, there have been moments, I promise you, there have been moments where God will allow an uncomfortable thing to happen at the right time to force us to get some sense about ourselves. The biggest crisis of my life thus far, my kidney failure, I almost died, was right during a time when our marriage was really on the edge of being over. Nobody knew it because we're preacher and his wife, and of course you see preaching and she's singing, but nobody knew it. And so God used kidney failure and sickness to heal a relationship that was oozing life. And he says, I'm going to use this sickness to bring healing. And so God has a way of doing things. And of course, I don't want to make you feel like it's all bad, but nobody has to prepare for the good moments in marriage. You don't need to prepare for the good moments. You need to prepare for those moments when you're dating, when you find this out about this person. And the deeper you go into their most private, the part of them, and sometimes you don't get to certain private parts until years of being married. You don't get to see the effects, right? Because all of us have a childhood and all of us have a history, and all of the things that have happened in our lives culminate in the present moment we're in. So you take everything that has happened in your life, the culmination of it, and sit it in front of a preacher, and she takes everything that happened in her life and sit it in front of a preacher and face everything that happened in my life with everything that happened in her life. And we say, I do, and we begin living, and all of our marriages, this constant unpacking of everything that happened in our lives.
All the while both people are evolving and turning into other people.
So
right.
Just when you think you got it figured out, I'm not there anymore.
Right.
Right. So in those moments when it was really crucial, God, and you got to always depend on God, and you got to want it. You got to want it. You got to want it. You really do. Because if you don't want it, you won't keep it.
Yeah.
Amen. This is so good, y'all. He said when he was going through kidney failure, God healed their marriage. So through sickness, God healed your marriage. That is so deep, y'all. Like when God said, I brought y'all together, y'all don't get to pick and choose if y'all gonna stay married or not. This is my marriage. So I'm gonna have to fix this thing. I love it.
That's
so I love your realness. I love your transparency. And I think that's something that a lot of us singles need, because we get we don't argue when we're at home, or, my voice doesn't go a certain octave. And I'm like, okay, I know I could get loud. So if I get married, I guess I'm going to get divorced, because I'm not going to speak gentle and quiet when I'm mad. So I love your realness. So the question I have for you now is, how do you keep the joy in your marriage?
We laugh a lot. We laugh a lot. And our children, our girls, a couple of them are on here. And I think Janice is on here and Jayla on here, but our girls too are a big part of that. But it's just, we have a good time together. We know how to have a good time together. So it's things are not always heavy with us. We don't take everything so seriously, right? We can argue, and we've gotten a whole lot better, over time. We've gotten a whole lot better by, we can argue you know, and then 5 minutes later, we can sit on the couch and look at a movie together. It's, stuff like that, learning how not to hold on to things so long and let things just kind of fester. We've gotten better with that and just kind of letting things go because, we say it all the time that life is short and, but life really is short and you just don't know if, you could be here now and be gone in 5 minutes. Who knows? It's not, it ain't here today, gone tomorrow. It's here today, gone today. And so you just don't know. But we just kind of take it light, nothing, it's not too serious for us.
And that's your answer too, Brother JK? I gotta ask because you be pausing for a minute.
He got different answers, honey.
I like that you guys are having this because you're getting to hear two perspectives, the male perspective and then the woman's perspective. We do laugh a lot. We laugh. I mean, Carol is really funny. Like she's the life of the party type personality. So we do a lot of laughing. There's a lot of saying, I'm sorry. There's a lot of, hey, okay, even if you say it grudgingly, okay, I shouldn't have said that, I'm not an argue type. You said something about, you do get loud, and that's this one right here. She can get loud and then say she's not getting loud, and then when you offer to record it, she says it doesn't matter. So
I don't get loud, honey. I just talk loud. I'm just very expressive.
Right. Which has been if we're going to be real about it, that's been a challenge from the beginning. And so we have to meet each other halfway. We had to, and we still have to where you slow down the moment. God has given us the gift of controlling not time, not the tick-tock of time, but time by way of situation. We can slow down a moment that's happening, slow it down by just repeating each other. Communication techniques. Okay, this is what you're saying, or I'm not loud right now. Okay, well, okay. So you have to do this adjusting, and you can't always be the one that wins. You cannot always be the winner. Sometimes you have to lose when you have all the winning pieces for the sake of the relationship. And so praying, saying sorry a lot, adjusting attitudes, sometimes spending time away, not in two different living places, but going on, I got to, I'm going to go. She goes to get her nails done. I'll drive to the office. And it's so much that happens, when you can get away. And the reason why I don't want to sound morbid about it, but you got to go into it knowing this, knowing that you can't win all the time. You're not going to win all the arguments, that there are parts of you, there were parts of us that we were trying to correct before we got married. You don't stop that. Like if there's something about you that you're trying to fix, you don't stop working on it or deny that it's an issue when you get in marriage. It was an issue before you got in marriage. So if you were trying to fix you before marriage, that means you should have somebody to help you now to see yourself. There are certain things you don't see single that you start seeing in marriage. And just remember, you signed up for the whole ride. And just remember that a lot can be resolved with humility. Laugh a lot. Laugh. Have fun, relax. But I only see one man on here, and I'll say this for men. There are a lot of us men who internalize. And you young sisters, and I'm sorry, My daughters are on here, so
Share it, brother
I'm not
JK.
trying
Let
to be
loose. No,
condescending.
no, no, no. Share it, brother JK. It needs to be said. Share it.
You know, it's very good to allow a man to express himself, because the internalization of issues, because men are naturally, we're like that. Like, we'd rather swallow it and take it. We learn that as kids, stop crying, man up, and we just swallow it and take it. The problem with that is it doesn't go away. It stays. While women are explosive and let me get this out. And I got to tell you, I've got to say this, and I'm telling you this now, that, blah, blah. I said my piece. Meanwhile, it's still in him. And so it's important. It's very important that you not be okay with a man, with allowing a man to internalize. Don't be okay with that. All right. Always, and if there were men on here, I would say men create an environment. There are men on here.
There's a man over here.
Oh, there's one man on here. Yeah, I would say create the environment that allows communication to flow freely and without the threat of criticism. Ooh. People always want honest communication until the honesty is uncomfortable.
Oh, that's so good, brother JK. That is so good. Oh, let's meditate on that, ladies. We got to make it easy for these brothers to talk to us. I'm grateful and thankful. God blessed me with a son who, if I yell at him, he looks at me like I'm crazy. And then he's like, okay, when you're done, we're going to have a conversation. And sure enough, as soon as I calm down, he's like, yes, mom, what do you need? And I'm like, oh, Lord, you knew what I needed. So you blessed me with the son. So that way, when you send me your son, I'll be ready. So I thank you. I really, truly thank you for that. Our final question for you is, what advice do you have for single Christians, both women and men, desiring marriage?
Go ahead.
First of all, let me say that I believe marriage is something that is not necessarily pushed in our society anymore. Marriage is not a big deal like it used to be 25 years ago. It's not a real big deal. And I'm talking about the sanctity of marriage. I'm not talking about, because everybody like a Facebook moment, okay? Where they can have the bridesmaids and everybody got a shirt, explaining who they are. I'm the blank to the bride. I'm the bougie bridesmaid. I'm the classy bridesmaid. And then, everybody got a robe alike, and they can take a picture and they can do all of this. People are really good at putting those things together. But when it's time to be in the marriage, people don't know how to be in the marriage. And I think people need to learn to, number one, love that God created it, and God sanctioned marriage between a male and a female. Number two, learn to be patient, right? Learn to wait on God for who he's going to send you, because I believe, you pray long enough and you act in this will, I believe God will send you who you need to be with. Number three, everybody ain't going to get married. I mean, everybody is not destined to be married, right? It's not a guarantee that you're going to get married. And so you have to learn how to learn contentment in that space as well. Right. And I'm not a person that, tries to act like, you don't have feelings, and single people don't have feelings and they don't want to be booed up and all of that. I know, because God put that in us. God put that in us to desire those things. But I think that we have to understand that in God's timing, he'll provide you with exactly what you need. Don't compromise. Don't just do it just because you want to say I'm married. Okay. So what is the slamming engagement he did, and he kept together this great engagement to you, and, a great wed. But if he ain't doing what he needs to do, if he's not the right guy, don't do it. Don't compromise. for, just for the sake of saying I'm engaged or I'm married. Wait on God. Wait on God. And just, meanwhile, just be content, pray, and enjoy life until he sends you somebody. And then when he sends you somebody, appreciate them, who they are, appreciate who they are in your life. I could say more, but that's enough. I'm good.
I remember you taught a lesson at Hope for Our Ladies' Day, and you said Ruth was, I want to make sure I quote you correctly. You said that Ruth was prepared by her mother-in-law to lay at the feet of Boaz.
Yeah.
She didn't tell her to sleep with him.
Right.
And that has stuck with me, because a lot of times people quote this whole thing with Ruth and Boaz, but they miss that part, that she didn't, give up her virtue. She just laid at his feet. And I'm thinking, as a Christian woman laying at Jesus's feet, waiting for him to say, okay, I'm ready now for you to meet this person. I'm going to send them your way. So I really, look, that lesson, it stuck with me, Sister Carol. I always sometimes use it in my lessons when I'm teaching. So that was very powerful. Brother JK, what advice do you have for us?
In your journey, realize what else God gave you to do and refine it. If you have a career, don't put anything on hold. Keep pushing in that. If you have a son, keep building that relationship. Keep being the kind of mom that's training him and raising him in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. If you have other friends, engage in those other friendships. And you may, it's not fine, but the man may find you, and brother, you may find your wife along in the path of pursuing your purpose, as opposed to leaving your purpose to date someone outside of it. Focus on what you have going. We have a daughter that's a beautician. She's focusing on that, and every now and then she'll bring somebody and say, this is my friend. And that's another thing. Platonic friendships, do they exist anymore? Yes. Can a person be your friend without wanting your body? Can you be somebody's friend without wanting to take it to the next level? Can you be in the same enclosed area, eat a sandwich, and then go to the movies as friends? That still happens. Can he call you and talk to you about anything? Can you talk to him about anything? Can you build that friendship? And then be very selective about who you let come into your holiest of holies. The outer court is good. The inner court is even better. But your most holy place, and the most holy place belongs to God, first of all. But be careful who you let come into that inner proximity, because they can't unsee whatever they've seen. They can't unknow whatever they know. And so you bring, and that's for brothers too. You bring somebody in that close, not being selective. Then when that thing dissipates, they leave and they go back through the inner court, back through the outer court, into the world, knowing what's going on, knowing something about your most holy place, your innermost self. And so be very selective. Don't be in a rush. Keep your relationship with God going, and God will reveal what you're supposed to do. And when you ask God to reveal it, don't get upset, because it's not always comfortable what he reveals.
That is so true, Brother DK. When I tell you that's so true, that is so true, because I've been on this journey of God expose me to me. And sometimes when he shows it, it's like, oh, okay, let's get some therapy, Adney, because that's a deep thing that needs to be worked on. I want to thank you both. You guys are awesome. Like, I loved y'all from before when y'all came to Hope, but now it's like it's even a more intimate thing. I absolutely adore you both. I love your transparency, and I know your congregation is truly blessed to have you two as their leader, because no matter what they're going through, I know you guys are open to help them. Especially, I've been teaching on hospitality. I've been watching that. I'm like, okay, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys have been blessing me. Do you have any final thoughts for us? If not, Miss Kim Hardy, back to
I
you.
just want to say thank you for having us, and thank y'all for doing this for each other, because y'all are doing it for each other. We're not necessarily, you know, we're glad to be a part of this Jesus Sprinkle, and we love each other. So we just we keep it real, and we don't want people to think marriage, don't get married, it's scary, it's scary.
Yeah,
It's not that. It's not that it's scary. It's just that
don't go into it lightly.
Right. We deal with marriage holistically, and not just see the flowers and the tulips and the running through the daffodils. We ain't running through, we stepping on thorns and all kinds of stuff in the daffodils. JK ain't got no pedicure. I got a pedicure. My feet look good, and the thorns are messing up my feet. So we got to, we just look at the whole field, not just a piece of the field. We look at the whole field, and we just encourage you to keep on searching and keep on talking to all these people that y'all are talking to, and getting different perspectives on life, and take what you can, and what you can't, leave it there, right? You leave it there, because everybody, you may not have agreed with everything that we said, but take what you can, and what you can, we hope you can apply it.
I don't know if I brought that book.